It's Monday. It's morning.
By God, if it ain't macabre. Whoa!
If it ain't the Macabre Boys. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Monday Morning Macabre, the show where me and Scones, I am Darcy, that is Scones, we talk about spooky dookies every week. And you guys come on down. You say, hey, I want to hear something that's going to ruin my day / couple of days / week.
Money back guaranteed, baby.
Or your money back. That's our absolute guarantee. Welcome to the show. We were just talking before the podcast. Me and Scones chit-chat a little bit.
We were shooting the shit.
Well, yeah, we were in the break room, the Sling and Dingers break room, or the SDBR.
Yeah, I was getting a coffee out of the coffee vending machine like they have in movies from the 80s.
Yeah, big in Japan. And we were chatting about Mindhunter because Scones has finally got around to watching Mindhunter.
I finally got around to watching it.
And we were just going, oh, man, it sucks that it's canceled. And then I just Googled Mindhunter because I was like, I couldn't remember if it was David Fincher. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's David Fincher. I Google it. Ladies and gentlemen, 11 hours ago, David Fincher reportedly close to signing new deal for Mindhunter Season 3.
So ladies,
it could be
you're
coming
welcome.
Back.
Everybody, this was me.
It was me and Scones talking about it that brought it into existence.
Netflix wanted nothing to do with it, and then they checked
That's the Sling and Dingers pull.
The long piece of paper came out of their giant computer, like,
yep.
And then they read it, and they're like, by God, the Macabre Boys
it's
are
a
watching?
It's a seismograph that makes the shape of a skull.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy
oh
shit,
God.
It's gotta be true. So that's one thing. That's pretty cool. Another pretty cool thing is
staying away from drugs.
Staying away from drugs is pretty cool. If you've seen a kickflip and an ollie, you're going to love Dare.
Listen, the Ninja Turtles don't do drugs. They eat pizza. And it's pretty radical.
It is pretty radical. And honestly, I would rather eat pizza than do drugs any day of the week.
Yeah, actually, I double that. I take that pizza you ordered, and I double it. 2 pizzas.
2 pizzas. Make them stuffed crushed, please.
Ooh, melted cheese is my drug.
Yeah. Honestly, Papa Gino's cheesy bread got me
God,
through high school.
Dude, it's still getting me through life.
Legitimately twice a week, me and my group of friends would just loiter at different Papa Gino's.
How many Papa Gino's does your hometown have?
A couple. Listen, Papa was our mayor. Mr. Gino, he afforded the rec jerseys for basketball.
Were you just hanging out with cardboard cutouts of Adam Vinatieri and Teddy Bruschi?
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that is a very specific memory I did not remember I had. Yeah, I love just shitty plastic booths. And that claw weird machine. Tablecloth. Yes, claw machine. For some reason, there was those old ass gumball machines outside. Anyway.
And the walls are painted as if it were a nice restaurant.
Right. They're like, you're in Venice. And I'm like, I'm in the back of a gas station.
It's like, there's a karate studio next door.
I just saw James get his purple belt and now we're slugging down pizza.
Just like Venice.
But yeah, me and my friends would loiter and scrounge $7 and get a large cheesy bread. And it was some of the best food I've ever had.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
It was. So that's another good thing. What else? What other good things, Scones?
Our listeners are the best things.
Oh, our listeners are the best things that's ever been mine.
The best thing.
And Scones actually is going to switch things up this week, and he's brought a very happy story, a very uplifting story.
Yeah.
Right, Scones? Right? We talked about this, right? You brought a happy, uplifting, fun story?
Of course. It's a real rag to riches. No,
I can't wait to hear it.
I brought that good. And it's a listener suggestion.
Oh, a suggestion from
a listener. Yes, that's right.
I was gonna say Adam Listener Terry, but I don't think it works.
Eat cheesy bread. Our listener,
shout out to cheesy bread,
Instagram user M.Cabral hit us up with this one. M.Cabral, you're a real one. He tipped us off to the gruesome crimes of Albert Fish, the Brooklyn vampire.
Oh no, this is the opposite of happy.
So you know what I'm slapping down?
Oh, I almost baby, do I ever.
We had a similar, for some reason I almost thought we did this before. Because Scones is getting up there in age, everybody.
No, we've never done one specifically on Albert Fish, and honestly, the reason is, at least from my end, is because I just didn't want to talk about this fucking guy.
Well,
because he's so horrific.
Me and M. Cabral are going there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're the one who's venturing into this territory, especially the father of a daughter. Ew.
Yeah, you're going to have to compartmentalize yourself for a second here.
Yeah, if you guys can't tell, this one is going to be super bad. Hey, Mom, I know you like hearing my voice every Monday, but shut it down now.
Yeah, disclaimer, this involves obscene violence and sexual violence towards kids. So if you're... we talk about the most horrible people ever, this guy is up there at the top of the list.
Welcome to another week of... Yeah, he is... Oh, boy. Anyway, Scones, I don't want to steal your thunder.
My thunder?
Because I know you got to... Scones has a fat head of Albert Fish on his wall.
Jesus. Talk about cancelable.
And so I know he's really hyped up to talk about this, and he talks about how this is his idol. So I don't want to go on too long because I know he's eager to jump in. So Scones, why don't you take it away?
Well, actually, first, Band, you take it away.
Band, why don't you... the band's probably like, he had some good ideas.
Oh, yeah. I forgot our band are all terrible people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or skeletons, I think they are.
Terrible skeleton. Are skeletons people?
Now... Okay. Don't need to get political, Dars.
Yeah, we're getting canceled twice. All right, band plays it.
All right, this one, it's from allthat'sinteresting.com. I
don't know if you guys have heard of this website, but it's basically our podcast in written form.
If websites could be bars, All That's Interesting, I'd be a regular there for sure.
Yeah, we'd get like the punch cards for free drinks after. I don't know, you can't do that, but
I'd be Norm from Cheers, which is a reference that almost probably no one will get. Or I don't know.
Oh, I think no. I think the fact
if you're under 25, you might not.
Yeah, right, exactly. You got like 2 years, 3 years below us, and then you're probably out.
Well, one of our producers is younger. Do you know who Norm from Cheers is?
No.
Yeah, she doesn't know. All right, we're geniuses. We confirmed our theory.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Alrighty, so the name of the article is The Gruesome Crimes of Albert Fish, the Brooklyn Vampire, and it's by Katie Serena. This was published October 30th, 2020, and updated February 13th. Albert Fish confessed to dozens of crimes after his arrest, each one of them more depraved than the last. By November 1934, 10-year-old Grace Budd had been missing for 6 years. There had been no promising clues or developments regarding her disappearance. That is, until her mother, Delia Flanagan Budd, received an anonymous letter.
Yeah.
Dear Mrs. Budd, on Sunday, June the 3rd, 1928, I called you at 406 West 15th Street, brought you pot cheese, strawberries. We had lunch. Grace sat in my lap and kissed me. I made up my mind to eat her.
I fucking hate this.
The bizarre rambling letter that Mrs. Budd received on that cold November evening began with the tale of a deckhand who developed a taste for human flesh and ended with a harrowing description of Mrs. Budd's daughter being murdered and roasted in the oven. Although the written confession was unsigned and nameless, it was the beginning of the end for cannibalistic serial killer Albert Fish. However, his exorbitant madness and murderous bloodlust came to be, however, is a tale as macabre. Ooh, buzzword.
Heyo, buzzword. SEO, search engine optimization.
ATI, we're coming for those residuals, and unimaginable as the death of Grace Budd itself. So, Albert Fish, also known as the Gray Man, is born. Born on May 19th, 1870 in Washington, D.C., to Randall and Ellen Fish, Hamilton Howard Albert Fish had many names: the Brooklyn Vampire, the Werewolf of Wisteria, and the Gray Man. Small, quiet, and unassuming, he had a face that blended in with the crowd and a private life that would have frightened even the most hardened criminals. As a child, Fish was plagued by mental illness, as were a number of his family members.
Sick.
Not only was his brother in an asylum, but his uncle had been diagnosed with mania, which I don't know.
It's a Fall Out Boy album.
Oh, okay. Thanks for clearing that up.
He loved Fall Out Boy. That's what they meant.
Yeah, number one with a bullet. While his mother
dead on arrival, baby.
While his mother routinely experienced visual hallucinations. His father was 75 years old at the time of Fish's birth. That's an old dad. And died when Albert was
Wait.
Yeah, right?
I thought you said, oh my God. That's old dad syndrome. I thought I had old dad syndrome. He's got like chronic old dad syndrome.
Nah, you wish. So, it doesn't say how old his mom was, which is more pertinent.
That's stressing. That stresses me out. I don't like that. In my head, she's 73.
He died when Albert was just 5 years old. His widowed mother didn't have the resources to care for Albert and his 3 siblings alone and left them with a state orphanage. So this actually, on the topic of Mindhunter, I thought it was interesting how many serial killers have kind of neglect or abuseful moms and then not a father who's not present.
No father figure? Yeah.
And this is fits that to a T.
That's why I am very present in my daughter's life. You should be present. We went on a nice ride in the Cozy Coupe today.
Ooh, I don't know what that means.
It's the red and yellow car.
Oh,
yeah. The plastic one?
The classic, yeah.
Fun. Okay, heads up for anyone who is considering having a child and is married. It will test your marriage putting that fucker together.
The Cozy Coupe?
The goddamn Cozy Coupe with its smiley eyeball face will destroy your marriage.
Yeah, but the good news is if you take care of it, that baby will run so many miles.
Oh my God, it's got great resale value too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Kelly Blue Book that bad boy.
Just make sure you don't have any recalls.
True.
Like airbag issues, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So basically, it was in the state orphanage that Fish would conceive a passion for pain.
That sentence alone should tell you that this dude was just an absolute fucking psycho.
He is. Passion for Pain's a great band name, but this dude's a psycho. The caretakers at the orphanage regularly beat the children and even occasionally encouraged the children to hurt each other. While the other children lived in fear of painful punishments, Fish reveled in them.
What year was this again? When was he born?
This is 1875.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He was old when he... Yeah.
Yeah.
But while the other children lived in fear of pain... Oh, wait. All right. Cut that. I was there until I was... Snippity snip. I was there till I was nearly 9, and that's where I got started wrong, Fish later recalled. We were unmercifully whipped. I saw boys doing many things they should not have done. So, weird sentence. He came to enjoy and associate the pain with pleasure, which would later seep into sexual gratification. When his mother became mentally stable and financially self-sufficient enough to take him home in 1880, she removed him from the orphanage, but the damage had already been done. Fish not only continued to administer his own beatings, but began an unhealthy relationship with a telegraph boy in 1882. The child introduced him to the sexual practices of... Oh, God.
Uh-oh. Is this a Skipperoni?
This is Scones tries to read words he's never read or said aloud, and hopefully will never again read or say aloud. It's urolania and corpophagia.
Oh God, corpophagia is the diet of eating your own poop.
The consumption of human waste. Yes, and urolania is, I believe, drinking your own urine. I would guess from Latin. Yeah, I'm pretty educated, guys. It's whatever. Anyway, eventually, his sadomasochistic tendencies led him to an obsession with sexual self-mutilation. Again, another sentence I hope I never have to say again. He would regularly embed needles into his groin and abdomen and flog himself with a nail-studded paddle.
Oh, boy.
In 1890, after a 20-year-old Fish moved to New York City, his crimes against children would begin.
Hate it so far.
Oh my God, this website. Ugh, jeez. There's an x-ray of his pelvis, and there's 29 needles embedded in his pelvis.
This dude is he is Like
this dude's never heard of his rocker. That's how far off of it he is.
Yeah, he is the embodiment of just like a horror monster. Like
horror movies don't inspire killers. It's the other way around, everybody.
Yeah.
Fish became increasingly curious about the pain of others and wasted no time after moving to New York City to learn more. He started prostituting himself and molesting young boys, whom he'd lured from their homes to rape and torture them. A nail-studded paddle was his favorite weapon. Remarkably, in 1898, Fish married a woman. Like, what?
Okay, this lady, I don't...
Either way, he married a woman his mother had introduced him to and fathered 6 children with her.
Okay. There's no way this dude is having normal relations, right? Like, this lady must also be fucking crazy.
Yeah, he either that or he, like, before the relations occur, he's like going into another room and like stabbing needles into himself or something. No, I'm not even like kidding. I think that's like the only way it probably happened.
True.
Anyway, there's no evidence that he ever actually violently abused his own children, but he did continue to rape and torture other children throughout their childhood. In 1910, while working as a house painter in Delaware, Fish met Thomas Keaton. Fish and Keaton began a sadomasochistic relationship. So many phrases I never want to say again in this article. Though it is unknown how much of it Keaton actually consented to. In later descriptions of the affair, Fish would hint that Keaton was perhaps intellectually disabled, though it was always difficult to sort fact from fiction in any of Fish's tales. Only 10 days after their initial meeting, Fish lured Keaton to an abandoned farmhouse under the pretense of an assignation. When Keaton arrived, however, he found himself locked inside. For 2 weeks, Fish tortured Keaton. The budding killer mutilated the other man's body and cut off... you can imagine what.
Yeah.
Then as suddenly as he had arrived, Fish disappeared, leaving Keaton with a $10 bill for his trouble. I shall never forget his scream or the look he gave me, Fish later recalled. By 1917, Fish was having difficulty concealing the symptoms of severe mental illness.
I like how Fish is like, oh, that guy's mentally disabled.
Yeah. It's like, give me $10.
You're really throwing stones in a glass house here, buddy. You're like pot calling the kettle black.
Well, that's like the classic serial killer. I'm not crazy.
He doesn't have it all up there, but I
knew what I was doing. I'm not crazy. And it's like, wait, but
it's like
that is in fact crazy. Leading his wife. So basically, he had difficulty concealing any of the symptoms of his severe mental illness, which would lead his wife to leave him for another man.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not surprised it happened the day after the wedding.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did they even... The fact that he had a wife. Listener, if you're out there and you're thinking, man, I'm never going to find somebody. This dude did.
Yeah, and that might actually make you never want to find somebody.
That's true. That's a good point.
Fish's self-harm grew thereafter. From pressing more and more needles into his groin to stuffing wool covered in lighter fluid into his anus and setting it on fire.
What the... Where is he coming up with these ideas?
I have no idea. This is horrible. He began having auditory hallucinations as well. At one point, he recalled wrapping himself in a carpet on the instructions of John the Apostle. Fish began teaching his own children strange and oddly sadomasochistic games before developing an obsession with cannibalism. As a precursor to consuming human flesh, he began to eat raw meat, meals he often invited his children to share. Alrighty. So by 1919, his obsession with murder and torture and cannibalism had brought him to contemplate murder. He began to look for vulnerable children, such as intellectually disabled orphans or homeless black children, youths that he assumed would not be missed. God, 1919 was horrible.
Yep.
He would claim at his trial and in later writings that God was speaking to him, commanding him to torture and consume young children. So there's some Son of Sam stuff there. He scoured advertisements in local papers put out by families looking for someone to perform housework or by young men looking to work themselves. It was through one of these advertisements that he found young Grace Budd. Grace wasn't always Albert Fish's intended target. It was her older brother that he had set his sights on. Edward Budd was looking to work on a farm or in the country. That's why he put out the ad Fish encountered. Fish originally planned on hiring Edward and bringing him to his country house to torture him. Thus, under the false named Frank Howard, Fish called on the Budd family in their Manhattan home. He claimed to have some farm work upstate that needed doing, and he was also looking for some help around the house. Was Edward interested? Edward was inclined to take the job from the unremarkable gray-faced gentleman. But suddenly, Fish's interest shifted. While Edward was mulling over his offer, Fish noticed a young girl standing behind her parents, 10-year-old Grace. He now had a new plan and did not waste any time.
I hate this fucking guy.
Albert Fish, the unassuming-looking stranger, convinced Delia and Albert Budd to let him take their daughter along to his niece's birthday party. They would never see her again.
Don't let your kids leave the house.
Ever.
Just don't do it.
Fish took Grace, dressed in her Sunday best, to his house upstate, the same one he had intended to use as a torture chamber for her older brother. According to the letter that Fish sent to Delia Budd, along with his confession, Fish hid in an upstairs bedroom, naked so as not to get blood on his clothing, while Grace picked wildflowers in the yard. Then he called her inside. When she screamed at the sight of him, he grabbed her before she could flee. And then there's a lot of really horrible stuff.
I don't think you need to read all of the details.
No, I don't plan on it. But essentially, He sent extremely graphic letters with every detail about how it happened.
Which you can read on your own time if you want.
Yeah, this isn't that kind of show.
This is a children's show.
But basically, the end result, he would murder her and eat her. The letter, which had clearly been intended to cause panic within the Budd home, hastened Albert Fish's downfall. The paper he had written the letter on happened to be a piece of stationery from the New York Private Chauffeurs Benevolent Association. What a mouthful. Yeah. Police inquired with the company and found that the paper had been left behind by a janitor from the company at a rooming house he'd been staying in. The same rooming house, a man named Albert Fish was renting a place. Upon learning that Fish bore a strong resemblance to Frank Howard, the police would set up an interview. To their surprise, Fish confessed in an instant, practically tripping over himself to reveal the precise details of what he had done, as well as what he claims to have done to dozens of other children. But in the end, there would only be 3 children who could be concretely proven to be his victims.
Yikes.
Grace Budd was by far the most infamous of Fish's crimes, but 2 other murders were linked to him, and unsurprisingly, they're just as gruesome.
This dude is just born to like he's just evil incarnate. It's just not. Maybe the worst person.
We say that a lot here, but this might be.
We really say that most episodes, but
Yep.
Oh,
this guy makes Carl Tanzler look like chump change.
Yeah, this is a dude I've literally been I don't even think I want to discuss him.
Well, I'm glad I brought it up.
I'm glad Scones did. He is if you really want to read all the details, there's the only other thing that pops in my head is that I have refused to present. If you want more horrific things to ruin your day, is the Toy Box Killers. Him and Albert Fish are the two that I'm I don't even want to go into it.
I'm guessing from the name that's also more violence against kids. Toy Box Killers?
No. It's not necessarily that. It's bad. It's really bad.
I will take your word.
Yes, but Albert Fish is just an absolute monster.
He is. The other 2 boys who we would be convicted of killing are Billy Gaffney and Francis McDonnell.
And how many victims were there total? 12 or something like that?
He claimed dozens, but only 3 could be proven.
I see. Well, I'm glad he didn't. It's weird that he was so I don't know. I guess at that point, is he just trying to get caught? He wasn't really doing anything to not get caught.
I think for a while he was, and then I don't know. They always either the type. I feel like they either feel guilty and they come forward, even though they have the impulse to do this horrible bullshit, or they're want to be famous for doing it. Yeah, and then they come forward because they're I'm going to be all over the newspaper. I'm guessing he's the second because I don't think he intended to get caught because he sent it in a letter. He didn't
he definitely didn't intend to
shout it from the rooftops.
Caught. But it's funny that weird, as soon as he got caught, he was just like, I'm going to tell you all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't really try and do anything to...
No, because he also probably got some kind of weird excitement out of it.
Yeah, this dude had all sorts of problems. I mean, I don't think that's a surprise to anybody.
He sure did, and the trial of Albert Fishman would begin on March 11, 1935. Oh, sorry, Albert Fish. I don't know why I added a min at the end. Basically, it started March 11th, 1935, and demonstrated quite clearly that the man was insane. As expected, his defense pleaded innocent by reason of insanity. Fish admitted that his auditory hallucinations in the form of voices had told him to kill children. Despite numerous psychiatrists involved in the trial supporting the insanity plea, however, the jury would find Fish sane enough to be found guilty. The trial took 10 days and ended with a verdict that saw Fish executed by electrocution the following year. So he got the chair.
Deserved way worse.
Oh, for sure. Or I don't know what he deserves because he also likes that stuff.
Oh, that's a good point. Shit. He Uno reverse carded us.
He did. And he's a bastard.
He sure did.
While awaiting his fate behind bars in Sing Sing prison in Ossining, New York, I might have pronounced Ossining.
I think it's Ossining,
New York. Fish was permitted to write a series of notes regarding his crimes. These would help reporters covering the gruesome case more properly detail his crimes with a first-hand account, sure to entice readers. While it's generally believed he killed anywhere between 3 and 9 victims, Fish himself had another figure in mind. His chilling claim that he had a child in every state remains unconfirmed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the man's detailed recollections from prison have never been released. Before his execution on January 16th, 1936, Albert Fish's attorney, Jack Dempsey, refused to share his client's notes. It only took one glance at them to determine that what Fish had described was too macabre, whoa, there it is again, for public consumption.
Oop, there it is.
I will never show it to anyone, he said. It was the most filthy string of obscenities that I've ever read. So his own lawyer's like, nah, fry this guy.
He's like, this guy sucks.
Imagine being like the state-appointed attorney.
Oh my God, how unfortunate.
You have to sit in a room with this dude.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, how do you do your job in that scenario?
Yeah, and like, how do you also, like, there has to be a guilty verdict, and then you go home and you're like, okay, good.
Yeah.
I lost, but good.
True. It's just like, it's crazy how different brain to people can be, like, person to person. Like, my brain and Albert Fish's brain they're like the same thing, but just firing on a completely different cylinders. It's just like, it's nuts how different our lives can be.
It's really scary because this dude is old when he finally gets caught. So
yeah, he's a monster living.
He was doing it for a while, and like no one had any idea, and like people were willing to leave their kids with him.
Yeah, and listeners, there's people who are wired similarly, just walking around out there today. Just
think about that
just
when your mailman comes.
Yeah, think about that next time you're watching Bridgerton.
Remember, security systems can't help you. We learned that in the BTK episode.
Thank you, BTK. Mindhunter, guys, it's coming back.
Hopefully
what do you think?
Hopefully next week we do like a lighter, sillier aliens,
like the Grumpy
Bompy.
It's the
Grumpy Bompy.
The Grumpy Bompy.
Woods.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna do the Lorax next episode. That's gonna be our cryptid of the.
Dude, Dr. Seuss was an expert at making cryptids.
Yeah, he was a cryptozoologist first, a terrible husband second.
The Grinch might actually. Yeah, let's drag him through the mud. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. You never thought you'd hear about Dr. Seuss in an Albert Fish episode?
No, he's one of those figures that like people love so much that when you like point out that he was in fact a bad person, it's like up there him, John Lennon, Bing Crosby.
Yep.
Like, yeah, they're all horrible. And people will like go quiet and be like, hey, dude.
Dude, you got to separate the art from the artist, brother. It's that easy. It's that easy, ladies and gentlemen.
It's that easy, everybody.
Oh, it's that in Liverpool.
Yeah. We should just do a podcast where we're the Beatles.
Okay, I call being George, Paul, and Ringo and John.
I just want to be Ringo, no pressure.
Okay, yeah, that's true. And you get sweet glasses.
That's all I really was in it for.
Yep, I know.
How'd you know?
That's great, Ringo.
Well, Anyway,
guys.
Thank you very much for the listeners.
Thank you so much.
M.Cabral. Hope you like that. You sicko.
Hope you like it, you sick person.
But that's why you all join it.
Yeah, read if you want to ruin your day, week, month, year, you can read up on Albert Fish and read the actual details of what his letters say. It is bad. It's just bad stuff. If you don't want to have a terrible time, you could purchase some Monday Morning Macabre merch at mondaymorningmacabre.com.
Wow, seamless plug.
Seamless. Or become a Patreon member where you can hear other terrible things said by two dum-dums.
You get another episode today.
Yeah.
And that episode's on what is it? It's on
wrongly convicted. Yeah, if you want to hear about some wrongly convicted people and how our justice system is kind of trash, come on down.
Oh, what's more macabre than that?
What's more macabre than some trash? Raccoons are the bringers of death. Follow our socials: Twitter @MMMacabrePod, Instagram Monday Morning Macabre. Check us out on mondaymorningmacabre.com for the aforementioned merch and Patreon. And I really apologize for what we had to talk about here. And I
know what we really should start as a movement?
What?
Listeners, if any of you know, what's his name? The guy from Mindhunter?
David Fincher?
If anyone knows David Fincher, get us a cameo part in it. Or not really a cameo, but like background people. That would be so sick.
We could be extras in Mindhunter, bro. That would be so sick.
Or it doesn't have to be extras. We can just be like running a convenience store and it's just us behind the counter, like Clerks style.
Yeah, but we're in like a suit as if we have two heads.
Yes. Suit.
Yeah, we'll be the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, so David Fincher.
David Fincher, give us a call. We're ready for it. And, above all, have a good Monday.
Have a good Monday.
Goodbye.
Bye.